And as I said, so welcome to Exchange with Lula. Today we're going to be doing the scale. We're going to do a live demonstration of the mobile application. So very much the experience that our customers would have. We don't often demonstrate the application process because it's there's quite a lot that goes into it in terms of checks in the back end and all that sort of thing. But today we're going to walk through what does the application process for funding look like on Lula's mobile app. So we recently launched a mobile app. It's not always necessary to have a mobile app for funding, but with our banking and funding product, we're going to be launching the app with all of Lula's products combined. So with me today, I've got a senior product owner at Lula, Koreshini Pillay, who looks after the mobile app and the mobile app team, and basically speaks to our customers to understand what are they looking for in the mobile app, where do we need to be taking it next. So we'll walk you through. The one thing I just asked, just housekeeping items, just make sure that you're on mute unless you are speaking. We'll end off the session today with questions. So if you would like to ask some questions, feel free to pop them in the chat or even come onto the mic, unmute yourself and ask a question. We will focus primarily on the mobile app today and on the funding product, but we're happy to answer questions across the Lula kind of the Lulaverse at the end. So thank you. Over to you, Koreshini.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Thomas, for that introduction. Hi, everyone. And yeah, welcome to, I think, our second demo on the mobile app. The first one was the first introduction for when we went live. Now we're introducing the funding facility, which has been live in the application for about just on to 3 weeks, actually. 3 weeks ago on Wednesday, we deployed and launched the funding element into the mobile app. So as you can see, I've got the app opened on, not the app, but a mobile phone on my shared screen. And I also got the timer here, so you can see it's all in real time. Nothing's been live. When Thomas said production demos is happening, it's happening. So I'm going to hand over back to Thomas between my communication with the team to get the application to the various stages. So when I tag back to Thomas, he'll let you know what's happening in the background in terms of engagement, who to expect a phone call from, what to expect to see on your application as well, and the conversations that you would receive from either our sales team or our customer services team, and what you can do on the mobile app is something I will show you on. So first of all, if you haven't downloaded the mobile app as yet, please do so if you have an Android phone or a iOS. We unfortunately do not service and support a Huawei at this moment in time, unless you have the Huawei with the ability to use Android. So if it's Android and iOS, please go into the stores now, download the app, and definitely use it going forward. So I'm going to log into my app right now. I've already preset my app to logged in. So I'm just going to log out quickly to show you how biometric works. So we've got a very cool safety feature of biometric enabling. So obviously the screen's gone blank because I did my biometrics for safety reasons. You can't screen present and screen share on logging in. So as you can see, I have a customer profile here, which is me, Koreshini Pillay. I currently do have an RCF application opened on this profile, which you can see is in a pause state. If I click onto the funding section at the bottom, you can also see we support all the various states of an application. But the main goal for today is to take you through the process in which to execute and send through an application. So I'm going to click back onto the home and I'm going to switch companies. I'm not too sure about the audience, but if you have got multiple companies existing on your profile, it's very easy to switch between the app. All we do is we go to the top arrow over here, we click on it, and you can choose which company you want to switch to. So I am obviously totally in love with Lula. So my second company's name was called Lula Forever, and we are going to switch to Lula Forever right now. I will try and speak a little bit louder. I did see a request for increase in volume. Apologies for that. I'll sit slightly closer to the computer. All right, so as you can see on this profile here, this is a very clean, newly created company. Bank balance is 0 and funding is apply now. So there's a big call to action on the mobile app to say apply now. I'm going to click apply now on the top section. There's two ways of getting to the screen. You can either click on the top within the overview that you saw, or I can click at the bottom. So you can see me at the bottom over there, clicking on what they normally call a bottom navigation bar. So that's a really technical term, but it's basically a bottom bar that has icons. Very similar to what you see on WhatsApp. So where you see WhatsApp messages, statuses, calls, it's the same sort of logic. The bottom section of the app is where your functionality will sit. So I've now come into the section called funding. So funding will be for the revolving capital facility, and how the revolving capital facility will work, which I'm pretty sure most of you know about, but I'll just quickly recap the product itself. You will apply for a sum of what you would like to use for a period in which you want to use it for, and you can then do drawdowns from that facility in itself. So that's going to be the complete walkthrough I'm going to take you on today. So I'm going to click apply now, and I'm going to go through the application process online. Being obviously in prod and a live demo, I'm going to go for the smallest amount available, which is 10,000. So putting in 10,000. I'm going to choose a 6-month period that I would like the repayment to cover. So that means in the next 6 months, I foresee myself in my business needing 10,000. So for context, my business is a bakery. I bake dog goods. So my bakery just needs some equipment for right now. So I need the trays, the machines, the everything. So when I come into selecting the fund types, I'm going to obviously select equipment purchase because that's what I'm looking for. If you are a business that is needing for marketing, for inventory purchases, you can select anything that you normally would select on web, on mobile as well. It's all the same criteria and all the same information. So for me, I'm going to select equipment purchase and done. So now we can see we've got the 10,000, we've got a 6-month, we've got equipment purchase, and now I need to put in my VAT number. All right, and I'm going to click apply now. Okay, and like Thomas said, it's very brave to do prod testing in real life. So please bear with me for 2 seconds. All right, if Thomas, if you can just take over, I'm going to quickly go look for a VAT number I can use. If you can maybe just take the audience through the importance of selecting the type of funds and why we have got that criteria in, and just also the fact that we have a obviously max, so the max of value and the minimum value that is currently used in the mobile app being the same as web.
Cool, no problem. So as Koreshini stated, the use of funds is pretty important to us. So I think, well, let me take a step back on the mobile app. At the moment, you cannot submit a completely new application on the mobile app. So all absolutely like first-time customers should be submitting an application on our web platform. So the mobile app, you basically need to have registered on the web, and then you'll be able to use the login details that you've created on web on mobile. So key there, the mobile application for funding is very much for existing users. So those people that have already had an application submitted on the web. It's also for existing customers. So people that are already funded at this point in time can use the app to submit a re-advance application or a new funding application if they've settled up previously. So what we advise is to basically come onto the Lula website. And if you're an absolute first-time customer, and when you want to get started, you get started and you submit an app online. From there, once you have basically a username and password, you're able to download the mobile app and log into mobile. Then from a funding perspective, the funding product that we have available on the mobile app, and there will be further funding products that get added as we go, is our capital facility. So the capital facility is basically a pre-approved funding amount. So you can get approved for wherever your affordability is, and you're able to draw down increments on that. So as Koreshini said, you can apply from anything from 10,000 up to 5 million. We will then provide a quote. If you're approved, we'll provide a decision first, and then an approved amount. And then you're able to basically draw down anything up to the maximum approved amount. A really useful tool here to decide or just to understand the product a little bit better is our funding calculator on the web. So you can very easily go onto the web, access the funding calculator, and as Koreshini was pointing out, she's going to do funding for 10,000 Rand. Here you can see the funding calculator basically giving you a general view. So this isn't exactly what rate you would get, for instance, but this gives you a general view. So taking out 10,000 Rand advance or facility over 3 months, you're going to have an additional cost component of 850 Rand on that. If you take it over 6 months, that cost does increase. 9 months, there's more cost. 12 months, there's more cost. I think what's super important and interesting to understand is that dynamic between cost and cash flow. So, if you're on 6 months, you can see what your monthly payback is, or basically what your capital component and cost component is. And you can compare that to, for instance, on a 3 month where you have less cost, but the amount that you're paying back each month is higher. So there's always that trade-off of cash flow to cost to consider. In terms of use of funds, it's not that we're going to limit you. So should you choose marketing, for instance, we're not going to limit you to just using the funds for marketing. Once funds are transferred to you, if you're approved, you can afford it. Obviously, you can use those funds as necessary, but it's good for us to understand just what use of funds there is. Like, what are our customers using funds for, so that we can basically tailor our products better to suit the need. Koreshini, are you good to go?
Yep, thank you so much for that, Thomas. Really appreciate it. I'm good to go. Plan B in action, and I am on the stage where the registration number has been inserted. So if you insert the registration details, you'll come to this screen over here, which is uploading document details. Now, I know for a fact I don't always have my documents with me on hand. Sometimes I have to go into my email to source it out, and that's fine. If you still have to go into an email, onto your banking app to download your various bank information, don't feel that your first stage of your application will be lost. It will be stored. You can literally just push the back button, go out, log out the app, go into your other app, accounts. So you can do anything that you want on the mobile app in itself, but your application will stay in the state of requesting of documentation. So when I go back into funding, you can see I can go in at any point and complete my application. Now, what you might see is at the top a status called review pending. Now, review pending, pending review will basically be nothing's gone through, you haven't completed the application, you will receive email reminders. You might even receive a call from our customer services team to say, we've received part of your application, we're still awaiting documentation. So what you can then do is click on submit information. There are obviously certain rules and regulations that apply around the size of documentation, the number of documentation to upload. So we're asking for your last 3 month statements. This is normal process for any application. You click upload, and you can see I've already pre-done my accounts over here. So I've already gone to Standard Bank, downloaded all of my statements, and I'm going to select my statements that I want to upload. So I've uploaded April statements. I can go and upload another document now, which will be July. Very quick, very easy. As you can see, this is all in real time. I am working on Wi-Fi as well, just so everyone knows from a connection perspective, but you can work on data or Wi-Fi. Cool. In under a few seconds, all three statements has been uploaded, and these are true statements from the bank, so it's containing a lot of data into it. And once it's been uploaded, I will now think, okay, fine, I've done my last 3 months, and I'm going to submit my application. Very quick, very easy. My application is now in submission. Now you're going to obviously tell me, Koreshini, I'm seeing the same screen, right? That's okay. You're going to see the same screen for now. I'm just going to signal to my team for them to go through and do the approval. And I'm going to take you through what is next. So what is going to happen now is the backend team, being our back office, being our sales team, our customer services team, will get an indication to say this application's come through from Koreshini Pillay for her company. They will then open up the application and look through it. If for some reason you don't have the correct documentation or the documentation's expired, so from a legal perspective, obviously we need the last 3 months. If you supplied us with documentation from last year or the last 6 months ago, unfortunately we can't use it. But that's not a problem. You'll get a call from the sales team. The sales team will be like, hi, we've received your application, but we need you to upload more recent documentation, please. That's perfect. All you have to do is you come back into the mobile app, you log onto the mobile app, you click on funding, you click on submit information, and you upload more documentation that you need. So it's really simple, really easy. You can literally go in and upload documentation at any point that you need to within the process in itself. So from the mobile app perspective, when you get a call from our agents to tell you, please go ahead and upload more documents, or we need this level of information, there's no need anymore to go to email and send an email, because I know at the moment now it's some are email based. The mobile app was designed to make your life slightly easier, and also a place where everything is actually going to be in one space. So from there on out, the next stage for mobile app will be push notification. So the next goal for me is to release a way in which the app will talk to you. So it's not relying on a phone call or relying on email. It will be from the app in itself. So what a push notification is notifications coming from the platform itself, being Lula's platform. So I'm currently waiting for my team on my side to approve my application. And once they've approved the application, we'll see the application will go into a state called pending application in review. So let's just see how quick they are. Obviously, they're all on standby for me at the moment. So they are waiting for the indicator to go through and approve the application at the moment. I logged out just to make sure that I'm refreshing the data, because very often I don't think anyone's going to sit there and wait on their phone constantly. Okay, perfect. As you can see, application in review. So you saw before it was pending review, and now it's application in review. We want the app to talk to you. We literally want the app to tell you what the stage is that you are in. So we're using different colors, as you can see. Eventually, I will hopefully contact some of you that are using the facility and the functionality in the mobile app to get your honest feedback and recommendations of what's not working for you, and just user information in terms of what do you find really good, what do you find really bad. So we've decided from a product team and design team to use color indications to tell you where the application is. It is application in review. It's a good status. It's blue. It's comfortable. We know blue is a very trusted color. It makes you feel safe as well. So we're just waiting now for the team in the back end to go ahead and approve the application in itself. There's in this stage 2 processes that must take place. It goes through our sales team, and then it goes through our credit team. So it's quite a lengthy process in itself that needs to be undertaken. Checks needs to be executed against your profile. So if it's the credit checks, it's your level of affordability. So they'll look at my data that I've submitted in the documents to assess if my affordability is sitting where it needs to be for the 10,000 that I've requested. Now, I've requested access to a facility. Let's remember, an RCF is requesting access to a facility amount. It's not necessarily the fact that I will take all 10,000 out at any point in time. It's saying I will take maximum up to 10,000 over the 9-month period that I've asked for in itself. Thomas, I just want to see if there's anything that I've left out that you feel will be valuable to add in right now.
I guess the thing that I'd stress, or that I can't stress enough, is being prepared to submit the app. So the biggest friction points that we see when people are starting their application is, for instance, what happened with Koreshini there. She didn't have the right VAT number, or somebody doesn't have the right company number to submit. But by far the biggest headache we have, whether it's an absolutely brand new application or an existing customer, for each new application we need to, or every new advance that we're reviewing, we need your affordability data. And so if you've been previously approved and you've been funded and you wonder like, well, why are they asking for another 3 months bank statements? We need to understand what your affordability is right now. And so I think it's just very important to understand that part, like to get the maximum value is to ensure that like you're sharing the right bank statement data, the most recent data, and that you're covering the, a bank account that has affordability. So very, very often where we do see declines, where people are getting declined on affordability in particular, it's because bank account data is being shared that doesn't show that there's an ability to pay back funding. So very, very critical to make sure that the documentation is submitted correctly. What you can expect in this process is if you submit an app and we don't have the right documents, we will call you. So you'll get an email to say, please, we need updated documents. You will get a phone call from our sales operations team. And now these aren't necessarily the only documents that we might ask for, especially if you're asking for a higher value, many hundreds of thousands of rands or millions of rands, then we might ask for additional documentation as well. But the sales staff will talk you through that. But yeah, by far, I'd flag getting your documentation in order when submitting your funding application, whether it's a new app or a repeat application.
Thanks for that, Thomas. And I think that's the big part that's happening right now, is that my affordability is currently being checked. So the team is definitely checking the dates on the invoices. They're slacking me on the side and they're messaging me to confirm, was this your data? Has it been sent through? Now they're just doing the affordability check, which does take some time. Obviously, we've got them on standby, so they're trying to do it as fast as possible, but they're going to do as fast as they can from a compliance perspective.
So you can see that Koreshini's got a list of bank accounts there, and she's got only 564 Rand. That's okay. So I don't know if you want to open that up briefly, Koreshini. So you can see that with Lula, you can actually open a bank account and not just one bank account. You can add additional accounts to manage different pockets of money. One of the key benefits, it's not mandatory to have a Lula bank account in order to get funded by Lula, but it does make the process faster. If you've got a bank account with Lula and your customers are paying you into that account and you're making your payments from that account, we can obviously see your balance in real time. So Koreshini has submitted standard bank statements, for instance, here to measure her affordability against, instead of flagging the Lula account. That's okay. But if she had gone ahead with the Lula account, it would be a faster, simpler process. So just something to keep in mind.
So what we will see on what Thomas was saying, thanks for raising that as well, Thomas, I'm going to choose disbursement of funds to be into my Lula account. You will see as well, when you choose a Lula account, not just because it's a live demo today, but in normal circumstances, the transfer of funds will be a lot quicker because there isn't any waiting period for any bank exchange date range. And I think the longest you may have to wait for a bank that's not Lula for the disbursement of funds will be up to 3 days. And Thomas, you can correct me if I'm wrong on that, but I believe it could be between 3 to 5 days, depending on the bank we are requesting to disperse into.
Yeah, it's standard EFT. So just like, I think most of our customers will be familiar with EFT payments. Sometimes, if it's coming from the same bank, it'll be in the same day or happen very quickly. If it's coming from a different bank, well, then it's going to take, it can take a lot longer. So, whether it's the same day or 2 days or 3 days, depends as well if there's a non-working day like public holidays or Sundays involved as well. It can take a little bit longer to reflect.
Awesome. And while Thomas was speaking, I'm not too sure if anyone was watching the screen, but literally it went from application in review to the 10,000 showing under the funding balance. So um, unfortunately, I can't rewind, but that happened in real time, just shows how quick the app is picking up on the information. So as you can see here, my funding balance reflected 10,000. On the funding, on the home screen of the app, it's telling you, you've got your money. My portfolio balance now is worth 10,564 because I now have availability access to the 10,000, and it's asking me to do a withdrawal. So like I was saying earlier on, we've requested a 10,000, but it doesn't mean we have the money in our account. It's a facility available to us. So I'm going to perform the withdrawal in itself. So I'm going to request a withdrawal, and this is going to take us through to the funding home screen. Now I'm going to go through this in a very, very slow pace, purely because you've done a lot of changes on the next few steps on mobile side that is different to web. And I really want you to experience and see the difference in how we're giving you a pre-quote to understand what your repayment will be like. So on the screen, you'll see it's telling you what you've used versus what your total facility is. This is not changed, exactly the same as web, just displayed slightly differently. It's telling you at the bottom what you have in terms of your facility and what you need to do to draw down. What we're going to do is actually do the drawdown. So I'm going to go and say, I want to request a drawdown. A bottom screen sort of came up on the app itself, and I'm going to put in my amount here of 1,000. So I don't need a lot. I just need to go out and buy that Kenwood machine for my bakery. So I'm going to ask my facility to only give me 1,000 Rand. It's not that expensive. As you can see as well, you must always ask for increments of 1,000 when you are requesting a drawdown. And you can either confirm or cancel. I'm going to obviously confirm because we definitely want to get this funding facility moving and get the money into our account, right? Now you can see what's shown to you is really an amazing layout of information. It's a lot to absorb as well. What it's telling us is we are taking the facility out for Koreshini Pillay, that's me. The capital amount I'm requesting is 1,000. The frequency is going to be bi-monthly. So when the assessment was done from the team in the credit team side and the sales team side, based off my affordability, they want me to repay this amount back on a bi-monthly basis. So this is always determined by my affordability level and what the data is telling the team. They're also giving it to me over a 6-month period because that's what I requested. So over 6 months, it's telling me my number of payments will be 12. Cool, the maths makes sense. I'm going to pay twice a month over a 6-month period. 12 payments, it makes sense. If I was to stay on the 10,000, the total repayment of the 1,000 of the 10,000 that I'm asking for will only be 1,210. That's pretty decent. I don't mind paying that at all. My first repayment will be due on the 24th of July and my last repayment on the 9th of January. Literally, it's giving me everything I need to know, but I want to know a little bit more, right? So I'm going to click in View Repayment Plan. Now, this is where it's very different to web. On web at the moment, you get a very long list of information. We want to experiment in the mobile app just slightly, and we wanted to give it to you in a little bit of more condensed, readable format that you can comprehend. So what we're saying here is, what is your first 4 payments? What is your next 7 payments? And what is your last? So as you've seen, Thomas told you to go on the calculator on the marketing website. You can do this all for yourself. So whatever you'd see in a line-by-line layout from the marketing website or on the web, we've given a very condensed format here. So you can see the first few months is a little bit more normally, then it decreases. So we're showing you basically what the value is per section, when your first date is and when your last date is. How much must you budget now over the next 6 months to repay? It's a very clean, very easy look, all on one screen. There's no need to scroll. Everything shows on your screen. I'm just going to go out from the repayment plan, and I'm still here. I'm on the quote withdrawal page. I'm going to accept this withdrawal at this point in time. So I'm going to click accept withdrawal. Now it comes through, fantastic. Where do you want my money given into? Like I told you, Lula is an option, but if you don't have a Lula bank account, you haven't got one yet, I must say it's really easy to go on and open a bank account. It is probably going to take you maximum probably 5 minutes to open the account. There's a few steps to be done for verification, and that's my next deployment that I'm doing on the mobile app. But if you don't have a Lula bank account for now, you can choose to disperse to other banks. So I'm just going to show you what it looks like, but I'm not going to choose this as my method. So all we ask you for is the account holder details. It's basically the same as doing any normal standard EFT. We're asking you for all the details of the bank account that you want to put the money into. You don't select the amount, obviously, because we will put that money in, but you just give us all the information breakdown. If you select a bank, let's just select ABSA, you'll see the branch number will automatically populate. So you always have got this built-in functionality of auto-population of bank branch code in the workflows that we have on the mobile app. Now I'm going to choose to actually disperse to my Lula account. So I'm going to click disperse to Lula. As Thomas advised you earlier on, Koreshini has many accounts. I've done a lot of testing on Prod, and I choose which account I want it to go into. So I can choose which account I want this to go into. So Snowy's Bakery is the name of my business, and I'm going to put the money into that account because that's where the money is going to be needed for the equipment. So I'm going to say next. And the request has now gone through. As you can see, the creation for what my application was about is being created. The functionality now is no longer there. You can see this request withdrawal, no longer able to be clicked. It's telling me to hold on because what the next steps is that I will now need to wait for legals to be coming through to me. Thomas, if you don't mind just taking the audience through what the importance is of this waiting period and what they can expect to wait for in terms of time frame or any calls as well. I'm just going to inform the team that I'm ready for the next stage.
Okay, wonderful. So the way our funding works is that every time there's new funding accepted and about to be paid out, there's a new legal agreement that needs to be created. And the reason for that is that you get a new repayment plan. Like there's a new amount, there's a new repayment plan. And so that we basically, now that you've submitted this application to withdraw like your pre-approved amount, you're going to take 1,000 Rand of this 10,000. We now go and automatically in the back end generate the legal agreement, and then you need to accept that legal agreement, and then we'll pay out the funds. Now, we do get questions about the legal agreement to say, how can we, what does something mean, etc. That is something that you can talk to the team about. So as someone from sales will generally follow up any of this sort of application with a phone call and let you know kind of, they'll basically follow up on the legals. Also, online, we do have our help center. And so, Koreshini, maybe I could just do a quick demonstration of the help center. What you can do there, I'll just screen share now.
Sorry, I have to stop screen sharing on my side.
All good.
Using two devices is not for the faint of heart.
Great. So on lula.co.za, if you go to lula.co.za, what you will find under our resource section is a help center, an FAQ. You can find out about business funding. All of our products are there, but you can find out about business funding in particular here. And there are a number of frequently asked questions that are already answered on the site here. And so one of the main questions that we get around the legal agreements is, what is a capital guarantee? So within the contract or within the legal agreement, you will see that we don't, like suretyship isn't required, but a guarantee is. That's basically where whoever's signing the contract, which should be the director or directors. So we will put the signatories. You can have one or more signatories in the legal agreements. And that's basically saying that the director takes responsibility for meeting the business obligations should the business default or can't take payment. This is something you can talk to the team about. The other thing that's super handy is just understanding the capital facility and how it works. So you can find quite a bit of detailed information here. And then for future items, a lot of questions that we get, and we answered these questions a little bit last week, about debit orders. So, why are my debit orders being deducted after I draw down on a capital facility? How do you change your debit order dates? Questions about credit score. And so these are very helpful. In addition to this, there's things like how long does a disbursement take? But you can actually chat to our customer service staff as well, should you have any questions throughout the process. So you can, there is a little bot here, but you will be taken to a human if you need to speak to someone. So things like, what is my disbursement timeline? And that'll give you your details, or you can then, if you've got more questions, you can just chat to a human. You can also just contact us directly via phone. And so, yeah, I think that's kind of the basics of it.
Awesome, fantastic timing. I am back into my next stage of the application. Thanks so much for that, Thomas. Okay, so what we can see is while Thomas was talking to us, a state changed. So it went from a state that was into awaiting legals. So it went from a pending state into awaiting legals. And now we can see our legals is actually there to be signed. So once we click on funding, it's going to say proceed to signing for legals. Now, the one thing we don't have in the mobile app is the ability to sign your legals agreement. There is, however, the pathway you can do now that I'm going to take you through. The second option is when you receive the email with a link for your legals, you can use the link in your email to actually sign the legal agreement. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go from the mobile app to our web view. So I'm going to use the web view while I'm sharing the call with you now to show you how to sign it. But like I said, alternatively, you can definitely use the email that is sent to you and follow that link. Okay, so I'm going to just, everything's saved and stored on my phone, so easy logins from that perspective with security logins. So now I'm going to go and I'm going to make sure I'm in the correct company. Yes, I am. I'm going to go to the account section here. I'm going to look for, accounts down here. Button's a bit sticky. Apologies for that. I was actually on the wrong account. Even those who know the platform really well, we still can make mistakes. Okay, and I'm going to go scroll all the way down and I'm going to see this button called Revolving Capital Facility. So I'm going to click on Capital Facility, and in here you'll see the ability to say your signing is pending. I'm going to scroll all the way down to see complete signing, and I will now click. As you can see, web and mobile, all the same information is being displayed. We're asking for 1,000 over a 6-month period, bi-monthly, 12 repayments taking place. I'm going to complete signing, so bear with me while we do this, but also you can see how the signing does work. So the legal document is just loading on the background here. We obviously are using a legally approved in-document functionality here that makes e-signing possibility, so no longer having to go into a bank and physically sign any documents. E-signing makes everything a pleasure at the moment. The documents itself, you can enlarge if you'd like to view. Otherwise, like I said, you can always use your email link that you've got and use a desktop. I obviously know this legal documents. I'm just going to go down to the last few pages as to where the legal signing is needed. What's really cool is this tool we're using tells you exactly where the signing is needed to be done with the blue arrow pointing to the orange bar. So I'm going to click in there. I'm going to pre-fill my signature. And again, the blue little arrow is telling me where to go to. So I'm going to follow the arrow and I'm going to just follow its prompts and do my thing. As you can see, it doesn't take that long. Email signing can be very quick. But for those with a little bit of a fatter finger like me, as you can see, I accidentally did push on payments there. So coming back in to do the legal signing again.
Koreshini,
Yes, Thomas.
can you do the legal signing in email as well, or is there anywhere else that you can do it? So you can, one of the easier ways is not to have to go into web. You can actually email as well, right?
Yeah, 100%. What's really cool with the tool we have, as you can see, I forgot the top signing. It actually tells me you've got the signature up here. And now you see the blue arrows literally, but to Thomas's point, you can definitely, Thomas, use the web view. So go from your email, it would just be a lot larger for the eyes to also read. But no matter where you use it from, this arrows tells you exactly what to do. So if you follow the blue arrows, you will always know exactly where to go to for signing. You have to also, please don't forget, this little block here for agreed terms and conditions. You have to click that in order to complete your signing. Again, a potential area that we might be forgetting to do. Now we can see it's all successful, it's done, agreement has been signed, and we're now going to go back into the app. And I'm going to tell the team that they can now go and disperse the funds for us. So Thomas, definitely so. I think the use of email for the audience, just to make sure that if you aren't checking your email, like I said, at this point in time, we don't have legal signing happening outside of, well, within the mobile app. Please do check your emails. Keep on top of that. As you can see as well, it's told us the legals have been signed. So we're definitely getting the status calls coming through. I'm trying to find the best way to actually display that level of information in a mobile app that is able to be viewed, customer friendly, and easy to use as well. So now what we do is the signing of the legals have gone to the sales team, and the sales team now will disperse the funds. So I'm going to make sure that they're dispersing it into the Lula bank account. So I can actually show you what the funds will look like coming through. And we'll see the funding balance will now show us the value that is available. The bank balance will go up by 1,000. And what you can also see is the repayment plan that'll come through. So if I go into the funding screen right now, you'll see that I can't request any drawdown. So literally, I can't do anything wrong on the screen. I can't do a request for anything. I can't increase my facility. It's in the state, in a lock state in a way, because I'm currently in an agreement with Lula. I've told Lula I want the money. I've signed the legals. I've done what I needed to. So we're just waiting for the funds to be dispersed now into my Lula account. I've got confirmation from the team. The legal signings have been confirmed and received. And also on your email, you'll also receive a lot of email notifications. So I know it does seem like a bit of a overload. I know right now my phone's pinging off on the side saying legals have been signed. You also get a lot of notifications. So the main goal that we're trying to make sure is you as a business owner, your world is busy. What you're doing is keeping you very busy. You don't have time to always open up the app or sit there and just watch it constantly. So we make sure that communication is happening to you or is provided to you async, which is why the big drive since I joined Lula that Thomas has spoken to me about is the push notification. So we want to enable, like I said earlier on, the app to be able to talk to you. So the app itself is, like I said, very new. We launched it and deployed it only in Feb this year. It's been a project between myself and Thomas since last year. So to be able to present to you where we've come to in just a few months is absolutely amazing and beautiful for me to share it with you. So I'm hoping that if you haven't got the app, maybe you can take this time now to go to the Play Store, go to the iOS store, download the app, and if you are experiencing any issues, you can let us know in the chat and we can definitely help solve out any problems that you may have with downloading of the app. Thomas, is there anything else you feel I should be taking the audience through on the mobile app that we haven't done as yet? Oh wait, there is Transactor answering myself over there. Um, so on the mobile app itself, as with any banking application, if you haven't seen the first video that we did on mobile, you've got a full-on transact section. So once this money is in your account and you want to either pay a supplier, send the money to someone for payment to be done, you can either do it as a once-off payment. So if you are using Takealot or Hershey's or one of the main suppliers that you want to buy your equipment from, I can either go and do an EFT to them and pay them online. I can add them as a beneficiary, or I can do one of those two. If you want to do a once-off payment, it's as per with any bank. You fill in your details, you select which bank account you want to pay it from. So as we know, I selected the Snowy Barkery. So over here, I can go and I can click the Snowy Barkery account and pay from there. So when you're in the screen, you can almost access any of your accounts that you have set up. So anywhere that you have your money sitting, when you go to OneServe Pay, you can literally choose which account you want the money to go to, or come from, sorry. When you want to pay beneficiary, you can select pay beneficiary. I actually have Thomas loaded as a beneficiary here. So let's go through and send him some money. So we're going to send Thomas some money over here. I'm going to click over there and I'm going to pay him some funds. Again, I can select where I want to send the money from. And I just choose in the amount over here and confirm payments. Pay now. Again, all happening in real life time. Payments done. Within seconds, payments been executed from the mobile app. If I go into my banking section itself now, and I go into the account, it does take some time just to reflect, so bear with us there. Okay, we should see Thomas's payment has gone through. Bank balance has changed. Okay, not as yet. Again, we call them the demo guards. The demo guards are not
take up
always
to 1 minute just to update in the transaction ledgers.
Got you. But as you can see, though, the funds definitely are changing. The values are changing on the screen itself. So we're still waiting for this funding application to change its state. There we go. As we can see, a request withdrawal has been done. Again, this is in real time. We are trying for the app to update, and we ask the app to update a lot of stuff at one go. I'm just going to log out to refresh the memory because technically it's what would happen in real life. So I got the email and I'm now relogging back into the app. We can see the state has moved away from legal review. If we come in here, we can see 1,000 has been used of the 10,000. So can you see how the bar on top? So the bar on top is what we're trying to use as an indicator of used versus available. So we're now telling you you have 9,000 available as you've used 1,000. Because you've used the 1,000, it is now showing you your funding summary. So the screen itself is completely transformed to tell you exactly what it is that you have to repay. So you can either click here to view your repayment plan. Now, this will give you a complete breakdown of when is your repayment plan due over the next 6 months. Every date, every value that's needed. If I click out, I can also get statement. So if I want to get statement, there's multiple ways that it can actually be shared. I can either view it on the screen. So I can view it on screen. I can share to email, I can print, or I can save. So anything that you need to do to share with anyone, if you have a business partner and you want to share the statement with them, literally go there, link it into your email, send to them directly from this box itself. So you don't have to worry about anything from that case. All the sharing of your statements can be done from the mobile app. Unlike currently where you have to download, upload. Simple, easy, less than 5-minute steps that have been done here. When you see over here, the upcoming funding repayments, what we want to do is communicate to you as a customer when your next repayment is due. You will always see it here as well as on the home screen. So on the home screen, when you log in, we will always tell you upfront what is your next repayment if you have it due at the moment. So fully informative, fully telling you what it is. The best part though, I want to show you quickly before we have to call it a day, is if you click into here and you come into the account itself. Okay, as Thomas said, it does take time to show and reflect the funds coming in. So the funds have come in, but transactions haven't updated in the ledger. Now it has. Okay. If I open up Snowy Barkery, we'll see the 1,000 has been deposited from Lula Advance. As you can see here, 9th of July, 2025, plus 1,000. Now, this was the Lula funds that was actually sent to me. As we can see, it did happen in a much more expedited version on this call, but we were able to do the facility request, do the application, and request the drawdown, and get the drawdown given to us in under 50 minutes. When you click on here, it'll tell you all the information of where the money came from. So it's saying it came from Lula, what the advance type is, and the reference. So if you have any questions as well, you can always refer back to this card and this information on this card to the service team, the customer service team, if you have any questions. But basically for now, what it means is I, as the account holder here, I still have my facility opened. I've used 1,000, and at any point, at any time, I can go through and do another drawdown and request another drawdown. Obviously within the limitation of 9,000. As you can see at the bottom, every part of the app indicates to you. Over here, it said up to 10,000 before, and now it says 9,000. You can never ask for something for a value greater than what you have available to you. So the mobile app will always protect you in terms of making sure that you're never asking for more than is applicable for you in itself. I will stop there. I know we only have 8 minutes, but that basically, Thomas and audience, is the demo I wanted to show you on a very expedited and flow of a RCF application from start to finish.
Wonderful. Thanks, Koreshini. So I think just some key takeaways. I think if you just walk away with a few facts. So the app is targeting people with existing Lula login credentials. So if you're completely new to Lula, apply for the first time ever on the web. Once you've submitted an app, though, you will be able to use your username and password to log into the mobile app. Once you have an app submitted, you can actually use the mobile app from there to upload new documents, to track the status of your app, etc. So it really is just that very first time. Whether you're an existing or a new customer, we do need up-to-date affordability data. So getting, very easy just to hopefully upload your bank statements, your latest 3 bank statements when you're doing a withdrawal there. There are some limitations on the app today that we will be addressing in the future. So for instance, it's the facility that's available and not our term advance at the moment, which will be getting deployed in the near future. And then legal signing, we know that that's a little bit of a friction point at the moment, but that will also be going into the application in the